Hey, what's good, y'all? It's Lucky Luch here. Welcome back to my room and my YouTube channel. It's been a while since I've done a media talk. So today I wanted to do something a little special and call this Lucky's Top 7 Movies of 2025. Yeah. Once again, this is a list of my personal favorite movies from this year. If you disagree, leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel. I post every Tuesday. Now, before I get into the list, I did want to leave some honorable mentions off to the side over here. Anything with an asterisk would have been in like a top 10, a top 15. But my name's Lucky and I got this 7 tattooed on my knuckles, so we're doing a top 7 list. I think all these movies are good or have something good about them, and at the very least have something very cool to offer. So check them out. So the number 7 spot was probably the hardest to rank. There's a few movies that I wanted to put in here. I ultimately wound up going with Caught Stealing. And I was kind of back and forth between Caught Stealing and Mickey 17. Both have some similarities, and obviously there's a lot of differences, including the genre. Caught Stealing was more like my type of movie, definitely a Luch movie, if you will. I love the ensemble cast. I love the fact that Darren Aronofsky is a New Yorker, and this movie takes place in New York. And New York pre 9/11, pre iPhone, I think is very important because it allows everything that happens in this movie to actually be possible. And I think that's a detail that some viewers might miss, or maybe people that might dislike the movie, like, oh, none of this can actually happen. No, during that time in New York, you can get away with some of the stuff that happens in this movie for sure. My favorite movie is The Departed. It has, it's a crime drama involving cops and dirty cops and the mafia. Very big ensemble cast, and I think one of Martin Scorsese's best movies, obviously, because it's my favorite. A movie like that definitely falls into a Luch movie, right? Because those are the kind of movies that I love. I think Caught Stealing has elements of a Scorsese movie. It has elements of a Guy Ritchie movie. Putting those both together, and ultimately, that made me want to put this at the number 7 spot. So, yeah, shout out to Darren Aronofsky. Caught Stealing is a wild movie and a very good time. At number 6, we have a movie that I recently posted about, Predator Badlands, or as I like to call it, Predator Badass. This was so much fun in theaters, and they get away with a lot of stuff for being a PG-13 movie. There are some violent kills, there's some great action, there's some great both practical and special effects. What I really loved about this movie more than anything was the action. Like, every character was down for the smoke. They were all for the smoke. Elle Fanning's character has no legs. She's an AI robot with no legs. And she still somehow winds up whipping some ass in this movie. It's really entertaining, really fun. There's some nice wholesome humor in this movie. There's like a quirky, silly little oddball friendship, which I am a sucker for. I love movies about friendship and stuff like that. So yeah, the friendship, the humor, the action, the fact that like when my niece turns 13, I can probably like show this with her and like watch this movie with the family. It's crazy. I never thought I could say that about a Predator movie in 2025. So I was very impressed. And I also had a very nice theater experience watching this one. So Predator Badlands takes the number 6 spot. Okay, so continuing the theme of wholesome action movies, at my number 5 spot, I got Superman. I thought James Cornsweet was awesome as Clark Kent / Superman. I really thought he embodied what Superman is, which is like, yes, he has all the powers that he can to destroy the world, but he just uses them for good, and he's always looking to protect others. And I think David Cornsweet really helped do this with his acting, and James Gunn helped do this with his direction. There's a scene where Superman is saving a dog, and he's saving a squirrel, and then he's saving a child, and then he's saving, adults, and like there's scenes where he's like punching a monster, but then like swinging around to the other side and like pushing the building back onto its foundation. Those are very Superman things to do, where it's like, not only am I trying to save everybody, but I'm trying to help everybody. He has a really nice speech at the end, and then James Gunn does his thing. There's some great needle drops, there's some really cool action sequences, there's always a montage of somebody just like giving it to a multitude of villains, and it's like a slow motion action montage over some rock music. Like, I really like what was going on in this movie, and it felt like I opened up a comic book and got sucked into the world, whereas An example would be like Batman and Robin, where it does look like a comic book, but it looks like you're watching a comic book. It doesn't look you're absorbed inside of the comic book world. And I really got that with Superman. So once again, there was some butt kicking going on. There was some wholesome sequences. And it was really nice. Oh, and and Nicholas Hoult being like this exaggerated hater ass version of Lex Luthor, I thought was a little cherry on top. Yeah, there's probably some things that I missed, but top 5, I gotta throw Superman up there. This came at a good time because I feel like a lot of movies are very like sad and dystopian and gray, and this movie was also like brightly colored, which I really enjoyed. So we're gonna switch gears here at the number 4 spot. We're gonna go with the horror movie that made me laugh, cry, and be scared all in the same couple hours. 28 years later. Now, I understand that there's some tonal shifts in this movie at the beginning and at the end that a lot of audiences don't like. If you haven't seen the movie, I recommend seeing it and forming your own opinion because, once again, those parts of the movies are a little divisive. But other than that, I think there's some parts in this movie that are beautifully shot, well acted. There's some scenes that like kind of freak you out and give you the chills. There's some character moments in here that are funny. It really has a mix of everything. And at this point in the franchise, it's no longer about the sickness and the infected. It's a study of humanity and like how we react, how we love, the family dynamics and things like that. There's some scenes that are so touching and beautiful, like it had me crying, which is crazy. When has a horror movie ever made me cry? Never. Never. I'm telling you right now, it's never happened until I saw this movie. So I love the 28 horror franchise, and I thought this was a great installment. I cannot wait to see the next movie. So 28 years later gets put into my number 4 slot. And now we're at the top 3, and I'm really hyped to talk about these movies because not only are these movies that I was interested in watching, but like some of them are a little bit weird. Some of them I did not expect to love so much. And I'm recording this at the end of November, going into December, so I know we still have like Marty Supreme. I still have to see Sentimental Value and a few others, so this list might update, but for the most part, I don't think anything is touching these top 3 movies, and I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. So at number 3, we probably have the weirdest movie on this list, a movie I wouldn't have put this high probably any other year, but I think since I've been ingesting more movies and I guess getting into the cinephile lifestyle, I have Begonia at number 3. If it wasn't Yorgos Lanthimos directing this movie, if it wasn't Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons acting in this movie, this movie would have been dumb. This movie would have been dumb. I would have written it off so quick. But when you have two professionals going bar for bar, line for line, giving it their all, and the movie is just centered mostly around these two characters, you get some incredible work here. Plot is weird. The movie is weird. There's times where like it makes you feel uneasy. It's kind of like a thriller mystery, but also there's some elements of like horror inside here. Oh, it has like this weird atmosphere about it, and it's so well done. There's parts of this that are funny. There's parts of this movie that are unsettling and awkward. And once again, Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, going bar for bar, line for line is enough for me, and that's why I have Begonia so high. I really don't want to say more about it because then I would probably be spoiling the movie a little bit. But Begonia's in my top 3. It's weird, but it's well acted and really incredible. And I think people should just watch it, whether they wind up liking it or hating it, because I do think it does send a message about the world that we live in, but in a really unique way. I'm going to stop it there. But yeah, Begonia, top 3 of 2025. If you don't like it, leave a comment about it to explain why. At number 2, we probably have a movie here that a lot of people will put at their number 1. One Battle After Another. I don't even know where to begin. This movie was so nice. I saw it twice in theaters. I think the score of this movie is crazy. There's just like a little piano kind of hanging back the whole time that this movie's happening. There's some really crazy action going on. Another ensemble cast, which is great. And the cast is so good that Leonardo DiCaprio stars in this movie, and he at some points is a bit of an afterthought. And I don't say that disrespectfully. He does his thing in this movie, but the whole cast does their thing in this movie. There's parts where Tiana Taylor has her own, whole character arc going on. The movie mostly shines on her, and she's amazing. Chased Infinity, I believe this was her debut movie as an actress. She bodies her part. You have Benicio del Toro, fellow Puerto Rican, represent. Yeah. He is probably one of my favorite characters in this movie. He is smooth. He is calm. He is stoic. He's a leader. He is awesome. He has some moments in this movie that are pretty comical as well. And then you have Sean Penn giving a career best. His performance is so unhinged. Like, he's going full Sean Penn. Not like Al Pacino crazy, but that kind of level, right? Where he's doing these oddball, weird things, but for a reason. I mean, he has this awkward walk that fits the character so well. Like, give this guy an Oscar for the walk. And not to mention, the movie looks great. And just the acting of the characters are so good. It really emphasizes the title One Battle After Another, because all these characters are just fighting and fighting and fighting. For some characters, the fight never really stops. I would totally see this like 2 or 3 more times. I mean, it's so good. The pacing's good. There are a couple side plots. I'm not a big side plot person. They do meet up towards the end, and there's a lot of stuff going on that comes together. Yeah, man. One Battle After Another was a certified banger. And if you haven't seen this movie, see it. And if you've seen it once, go watch it again, because it is awesome. So, yeah, One Battle After Another is taking the number 2 spot. Number 1 is Sinners. People are calling this movie the most overrated movie. People are saying it's underwhelming. I don't care what you think. I've seen this movie so many times. So the first time I saw it in theaters, there was so much going on. I was a little too high. And I was like, this is good, but I can't even wrap my head around this. And then I went back and saw it a second time, and I really felt like I absorbed it properly, and I was amazed. And then I had a friend who didn't see it, so I saw it with them on I bought it on Prime for $3 or $4. I rented it, and then it came out again around Halloween on IMAX. So they re-released it in IMAX. I didn't get a chance to see it in IMAX, so I went to go see it in IMAX and was equally as amazed. Like I said before, my favorite movie is The Departed, and The Departed is a movie I watched multiple times, to the point where there are certain parts I can go word for word because I just memorize some of the dialogue or some of the lines. Same thing with Sinners. There are just so many good one-liners. There's good humor. The fact that you get Michael B. Jordan playing 2 people is nuts. I forget at points that it's 2 Michael B. Jordan, just because the accent, he plays twins. That's not a spoiler because you see it in the previews, but he plays twins, and each of them have their own little mannerisms and their different accents and the different way they dress and their attitudes and their philosophies. And he really does a good job of making sure that Smoke and Stack are 2 different people. I love this movie so much, I dressed up as Smoke for Halloween and made a little YouTube short that got 1,000 views on it, okay? I really loved this movie. And talking about Michael B. Jordan is just the surface of this, because this movie looks really good, and I feel you get 2 movies in one. There is some historical fiction elements, Jim Crow South, sharecropping part of this movie, and then there's the horror elements of this movie, and each of them occur at different points, and you get 2 movies in one that feels like one cohesive work, which is super impressive. The music in this movie is awesome. I forget the actor's name who plays the villain in this movie, who plays Remick. He's also in 28 Years Later. But he does a really good job of delivering his lines, and he has a speech towards the end that's absolutely incredible. Delroy Lindo as Delta Slim is a scene stealer. He is hilarious, he is dramatic, and he's just so good to watch in this movie. Wumi Mosaku as Annie was an absolute treat, because I've seen her act in other things, so I'm glad she got a big moment to shine in Sinners. You hear about horror movies where a lot of the characters are incompetent. Annie is smart, Annie is strong, Annie is independent, and whenever I go on the internet and see things about this movie, people just rave how awesome Annie is. So I gotta give her flowers. And then Ryan Coogler's direction. There are YouTube videos of him and I mean this so respectfully, of him being an absolute nerd about how they film certain things, how the aspect ratio changes, what cameras they shot it on, why they did certain things, and it just makes me love this movie even more. And then we have Miles Canton, who also, this is his first movie as an actor, crazy, great voice, plays the guitar, plays one of the main characters named Preacher Boy, who's like kind of a boss, and he knocks it out the park. He's going bar for bar with Michael B. Like, come on, fam. Yeah, like Sinners, it's not perfect. Like there is some flaws with it. There are a couple like potholes here and there, but oh man, it's damn near perfect. And I do consider this movie a masterpiece. And I think this movie is going to live on. I think there's going to be people in like 2030 coming back to this movie and being like, yo, this is it right here. This is heat. And so just for all those reasons, you know, seeing it a bunch of times, the acting, the cast, the way the story is told, and the influences that you can see throughout this movie, it has a wow factor to it that makes it my number one movie of 2025. That wraps it up. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. My name is Lucky Luch. I post every Tuesday on this channel, so come check it out. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment. Like, are there movies that you think I should see? Are there movies that I should have added, subtracted, switch around? What are your top 7 movies of 2025? I would love to know. So hop in the comments. Let's start a conversation. Thank you so much for being here. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.